Hello students, and welcome back to one more session of International Financial Management. So in the last few classes we have discussed about the different theories of international finance, that is IRP, Fisher effect, purchasing power parity. So today we'll move on to the next topic, that is exposure of international currencies and how it involves risk to MNCs while doing their business. So why is this exchange rate risk relevant? Okay, so you know that exchange rates are very volatile. That means they keep on fluctuating every now and then because of different reasons. It may be because of the trade between the countries, or some international crisis, or economic crisis, political crisis, natural calamities, or some stringent rules between two nations. So exchange rate has an impact on different things around the world, right from inflation, interest, everything else. So they may be, some of the currencies may be highly volatile, which in turn causes problems to the MNCs who are continuously dealing with different countries in selling and purchasing goods. So the dollar value of the MNC's future payables or receivable may substantially be impacted based on the exchange rate movements. Now you may say that for this only we are doing this forward contract, futures, options. Yes, you are definitely right. But still, that's the reason why some people feel that you don't have to worry about foreign exchange rates. So the reasons being given by them is investor hedge argument, where exchange rate is irrelevant, they say, because investors can hedge their risk. Hedge their risk means they can take a safety of going into options, swaps, forward market, future market on their own without worrying about what is happening in the exchange market. Second argument in favor of say risk is not relevant is, many companies say that if a MNC is a well diversified company, means it is having its subsidiaries in many countries, so the risk of one nation will be offsetted by the low volatility of other currencies. So if numerous currencies you are trading with, you can take cushion of other currencies which are safe. Then the third argument is that the stakeholders, if the stakeholders are well diversified, means the owners of the company are from different nations, also they are insulated against the losses due to the exchange rate of the MNC. But still, many companies feel that MNC exposure of volatile exchange rate do happen. So I have given you examples of two companies, that is Pepsi and Procter & Gamble. They say that because, say P&G says, because they manufacture and sell in a number of countries throughout the world, they are exposed to the impact of revenue and expenses of movements in currency exchange rate. So because they are doing business in different parts of the world, the exchange rate fluctuation will impact on what they earn and what they spend. Similarly, Pepsi says increased volatility in foreign exchange market may have an adverse impact on their business results and financial condition. So that's the reason why exchange rate fluctuation risk is very much important, and because of this only we have three types of exchange rate exposures or risk, which have been classified into transaction exposure, economic exposure, and translation exposure. So in today's class we will discuss about transaction exposure only. So what is this transaction exposure? What do you mean by a transaction? Transaction means where you are buying or selling something. Okay, so some transaction is there. You buy for something and the revenue has to come. Okay, so transaction exposure can be defined as the sensitivity of realized domestic currency value of a firm's contractual cash flows denominated in the foreign currencies which are expected to change in near future. So it means that the exposure word itself means the sensitivity of any say transaction, because you are doing it internationally. So when the exchange rate will change, it will have a positive or negative impact. If it is positive impact always, nobody will bother about it. But it may also have a reverse effect where the amount of revenue which have to be received goes down because of the currency value goes down. Okay, so such an impact. Why? Because some payment has to be made or some receipts have been received. Such an exposure because of international transaction is called as transaction exposure. So these are the risks of contracts that are entered but not yet settled. Say for example, you have made you have given an export assignment, and say after 1 month the receipts will have to be taken. So if the currency value fluctuates in a negative way for you, then the inflows of cash will definitely go down, and thereby there will be a loss for that company. So how can you assess transaction exposure? So we have certain steps how we can assess the transaction exposure. So first we have to estimate how much net cash flows are there in that particular currency. When you say net cash flows, it means what are the inflows of cash, how much amount you have to receive and how much you have to pay. The difference between the outflows and inflows is called as a net cash flow. So you have to anticipate within that two countries or within the different countries what is your net cash flow. Then measure the potential impact of exposure. When you talk about potential impact of exposure, means you have to measure how volatile is the currency. When you say volatile, it means how frequently or how rapidly the exchange rate of that currency changes. What is the standard deviation, or what is the correlation between change in the price of one currency over other currencies. Say for example, dollar prices increase or decrease, does it impact other currencies or not? So we have to find out the correlation also. So you have to first estimate the consolidated net cash flow. Say for example, we are taken one company where they are telling you about the total inflow, total outflow, net, expected rate of end of the quarter, and what will be the quarter. So you have to know what inflow and outflow you have to have, what the MNC is having per country, what is the rate of exchange, and how much inflow or outflow is measured in terms of that dollars or whatever it is. Okay, so this is about an example about how we are going to measure it, and you also going to measure what is the possible exchange rate at the end of the quarter, so that you can hedge your operations or you can go into a forward contract. Okay, so we have certain steps to measure the volatility of the so you have to first measure the currency volatility. So how to measure the currency volatility? You have to find out the standard deviation of the degree of movement for each currency in a period. Means for a particular period of 1 month, daily basis the currency value is taken is noted down, and its ups and downs are noted down, and then a statistical analysis is done so that you get a standard deviation figure. So if the deviation is too high, means the fluctuation is too high, then we consider this as a volatile currency, and you have to take necessary steps according to it. So this is one graph showing the volatility of different currencies, dollar, pound, and so on. So I have given you many. We can see that this Brazilian currency is having a wide standard deviation, whereas your Chinese yuan, is stable, deviation is much less, means it is not a volatile currency. So see these long lines, they show that the current deviation is very high, it is 9%, 8%, so on. So we say that these are high volatile currencies, and those who are having a small parallel bar graph, we are saying that it is a stable currency. So even we have median deviations at the range of say 4 to 6, certain currencies are there, so we are considering them as a medium volatile currencies. Okay, next, once you measure the currency volatility by knowing the standard deviation, then we are going to check the currency volatility over time. Means you're going to find what I said just now, after measuring the standard deviation, then we are going to analyze how volatile, high, low or stable that currency is. See here. So the percentage of volatility is given. So more than 10, T is considered as high volatile. These are in medium range, and so on. Next, we have, after knowing which is the most volatile or low stable, we have to measure the currency correlation. Means what is the impact that one currency price changes on other currencies. So I'll show you one graph for that. So it shows that when they are comparing it with British pound, with Canadian dollar, euro and so on, see the it is one means that there is high correlation between Japanese yen and British pound. There is low correlation between Canadian dollar and British pound. So if it is near to 0.1, 0.2, it is called as the correlation is very less. If it is nearing 1, means say for example 0.91 and 0.71. So euro and Japanese yen, Swedish krona have a very high correlation between British pound. Means if the British pound is increasing, it will also have an effect on that. So the figures which are nearing 1, that is 0.9, 0.7, 0.8, means that they are highly correlated with that British pound. When the values are very less, like 0.12 and so on, we are considered there is little or no correlation between the change in price of one currency with other currency. Okay, when it is between 0.48, 67, means the correlation is there. It is neither too high, it is neither too less, means it is having a medium correlation. Okay, so once we find out the correlation, then you are going to apply this correlation to the net cash flows. Means we have to see how much money from each currency you have to net cash flow has to come, and how highly correlated or how volatile they are. Based on that, then you have to decide whether I have to go for future options, for futures, for options or forward market. And also keep measuring the currency correlation over time. So this is how we try to measure the exposure or risk of currency volatility on exchange rates. So that's all for today. I hope you have understood this. Please comment for any queries. Like, subscribe my channel to get further notification. So have a good day. Bye. Thank you.